This is Upscale Media Group presents the End of Lane Sports Talk. Your host is Jerome Lane, and we have the finest analysts for you to hear the best sports from with Ron Baker, Julius Harrington.
Watch out.
Ollie McGill,
Yes,
and
sir.
the Rizzle.
D-Rizzle.
And we usually have the Freak. Today we present the two state champions, Rayshon Dent and Steve White.
Give it up, y'all. Give it up. Give it up.
Man, we so happy to have y'all guys on the show. We don't know what to do, man.
Yes, sir.
Very excited, man. Y'all accomplished something, man. Especially you, Rayshon. First time. I don't know. Hoban, was that 2 for Hoban?
Yeah.
2 for Hoban. So, y'all did a phenomenal job, and we're happy to have you on the show. We got a lot of questions for y'all. So, we're going to start with the day with Ron Baker. Go ahead. Hit him what you got to hit him with.
First of all, I'm just overwhelmed, man. This is royalty. This is as best as it gets right now for me personally. And I'm speaking. I know I'm speaking for all my cats that came up underneath Coach White. And it's when you talk about, you get flabbergasted about it. Like, you know, you really get. I'm speechless of it. I'm really speechless because. Even though Coach White won his state championship as an assistant at Hoban, he was at Buchtel also. And I had a show, the Bake Show, of course. I had a show, and I said that one was for, of course, I named a lot of people, and I said Coach White as one of those people. Of course, Harvey Sims as well. Everybody that came through there that was so close. So my first question that I have is for Coach Dent. Coaching the talent. That was I came to you. I had a game. What you do? You did. It was North and Buchtel.
Yeah.
And I said, Coach, you know how to coach talent. What would you say was the turning point for you when you knew that okay, I got a special group right here, and we can do some in the regular season.
I think the biggest how should I say hint was when we came back we went to Vegas and we got away from everybody and the team got a chance to bond, and we was pretty much outmatched on paper against all our opponents, but we was able to come out of there with 2 victories, and we had 1 loss, 1 defeat, and which was by 9 points. A team, they had some they had a lot of size upon us, but I think we played on strong. We battled. It was a good game down the stretch, and that kind of I think that gave me the hint and gave us the confidence as a team to say, hey, we can compete against anyone. And that was the biggest thing, and that's why even though throughout the playoff run we was outsized, but it didn't matter. That was one thing that we wasn't worried about, and I think. Through that time, we got a chance to gel and actually play together, and they saw the good things, the good outcome out there in Vegas. I think that helped us the most.
This is a question for both of you guys. We all know it takes somebody, some player, like we got 3 state champs in here. In '84, St. V, it took Jerome Lane to get there for them to win that state championship. They had a good team already, but it took a 6'6", mellow yellow, light-skinned brother to come there to win that state championship.
That's scary.
To Coach White and Coach Dent, what was that one player on each of you teams that you would say he got us over the hump?
Go ahead, Steve.
The freshman Sam, I can't remember Sam's name.
Greer,
now.
the Bear.
Sam Greer,
Yeah,
that was the guy that got us over the hump because they had Mr. Ohio on their team, Mr. Basketball. And when I noticed he couldn't guard Sam and he was backing away from him, I knew then that we was going to win. I kind of had a good feeling. And when we played in the regional final, Walsh stopped driving to the basket because he's 6'9" and he like 390 pounds, but he can move. And when they was driving to the lane and all of a sudden they would stop, I was like, we gonna win. We gonna go to state. And then when one point at a game, he had like a 5'10" kid on him and he backed him all the way down the basket. And he literally caught the ball and just turned around and he like shot the ball, and he looked at him and he pointed at him. And Sam talks and he points because he got a technical because in the regional final, and he told the kid, man, you can't guard me. You too small. Y'all need some bigger dudes to guard me. And I said, we going to the state. We going to the state.
What about you, Ray?
Well, for me, I think it was Marcel Boyce Jr. Corey and Amir, they had toted the line for us for the most of the season. So, I know a lot of teams was game planning for, and MJ just found his niche, at the right time, and he found his flow. It wasn't a surprise to me. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know MJ can play ball. You know what I'm saying? But I think the biggest thing was that his teammates understood at that time he was the hot hand, and they continued to ride him. And I think he, from the McKinley game through the city championship to the state championship. State championship game was the only time he didn't reach 20 points. He reached, and he had 18 in the state championship. So, I mean, the kid went on a tear,
Number 24.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can ask that for an even better kid because the guy he's just a high character guy, and I'm just glad to see that he went out the way he did.
Gil.
Okay. First, I want to say congratulations, fellas. Of course, Rayshon, his family. And, of course, I've known Steve a long time, played and coached against him. I have a question for each of you. I want to first say something about Rayshon because I remember when, I was talking to Rayshon on the phone and I was like, hey, Rayshon, you should coach high school. Man, I don't want to coach no high school, man. I'm good down here with the youth. I said, come on down and see me. He came to Summit Lake. Me and him talked for about 30, 45 minutes, and I said, Rayshon, I'm telling you, you are a high school coach. Next thing I know, he up at Buchtel coaching football and basketball. Right. So I want to ask you a question because you also coached in the state championship game in football.
Correct.
Which we got to give you respect for that too because you took Buchtel, as an OC all the way to the state championship. What do you think you gained anything from coaching on the football side in the state championship? Did that help you any with the basketball part? Because you kind of went through it already once.
Yeah, without a doubt. Actually, I think my experiences with football helped me, manage basketball at a different, with a different mindset, because, when you got football, we was offense, defensive coordinators and things like that. And I think that's the way I was kind of trying to manage my coaching staff as well, that had, they had high skills in certain areas, and I was kind of like letting my coaches coach up a lot of different things, and I was just managing from there. And I think that kind of, boded well for us as a staff.
Yeah, I kind of seen that too with Colt kind of managing the offense a little bit and things like that. Hold on, Rome. I got one more question for Coach White. Coach White, I've known you. I coached against you and Rayshon at the same time. When I coached at Garfield, when I got him over there, y'all was coaching at Buchtel. I got a question for you. What is the differences between coaching at Hoban and coaching at Buchtel? That's something I want to ask you. I'm putting him on the spot.
I was going to put him on the spot.
One, I don't have to wait for no one. Parents to come get them.
Wait a minute. And that was actually, I wanted to dive a little bit myself. But,
if you call practice at 10 o'clock in the morning, they going to be there at 9:30 or 9:15. And you ain't got to rustle nobody to, come on, man, let's go. Let's get started. And you got a lot of parent support. I mean, when we went just quick down in state, a lot of the parents stayed in our same hotel, which was a brand new hotel. They just opened it. And I just remember, like, when we won, it was boxes and boxes of pizza on this table. And I'm like looking, and I remember some kid was there, and I guess he was there celebrating or something, and he stuck his hand in a box, like trying to grab. I grabbed some pizza, and he was going to grab some, and lady slammed the box of pizza down on his hand and said, no, that's for the coaches and players. What team you play for? And then he was like, I don't play for nobody. She said, okay, you see that over there? You can go order some food, but you're not getting none of this pizza. And we had just people just coming up to you, just handing you stuff. Like, here, man, take this. Here, get this pizza. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I've been in that boat before where, when you winning good, of course, I had 2 seasons undefeated. Ron was on my staff with one of them. So, it gets greater later, even though we didn't make it to Columbus. But I kind of went through some of that too. So,
okay, hold on. I got 2 questions too. First for Steve. Man, you went to school all the way from elementary up, just with Julius, all the way through school. You worked hard to get a coaching job, and I have never seen you have a losing season. For you to get railroaded at Buchtel, and then take some time off, and then come back and win again. Are you looking for a job? Are you trying to get back into coaching? Are you trying to, be yourself again?
Yeah, no doubt. At first, no, but now that I saw, I like TK. I love him. I thank him for everything, but I'm still a head coach. Like, I'll be watching practice going, I wouldn't do that. So then that came back on me, and I got the job by accident. My son was supposed to play. TK Bo Will asked me to go coach with TK. And Bo, if you know Bo Will, he kind of forceful. Man, you gonna go coach with TK? And
that's Bo Will for sure.
Fully day, I'm like, nah, I'm cool. And TK asked me, I said, okay. Aaron tries out. Aaron ends up not playing. And I said, Aaron, man, I gave this man my word that I was gonna help him. Aaron was sort of like, that's your word. That ain't my word. So I ended up helping him. And I enjoyed it, I felt like at one point in the state championship, our best player, Sam, had 4 fouls. So they took him out. They started crushing us on the boards. So when TK came, he called timeout, and he turned around. I was standing like right in his face, and I said, you got a choice to make. Either we're going to put Sam in, or if we don't, we're going to lose. What you want to do? He said, man, I want to win the state championship. I said, damn right. Put Sam in that game. And I turned next guy, I said, man, put Sam in that game. And that hit me, because I was gone for, I think, 3 years or 2 years. And actually, I would have ended up having to get out of coaching because Aaron played CYO basketball. And the times he practiced, I had to get him there. And I had to go get him. And that's not my daughter's responsibility. That's my responsibility. Right. So, to answer your sum up, yeah, I want to coach again. I want to be a head coach. It will not be in the city.
They got an Uber. You Uber. Quit being so tight, Steve. Spend some of that money, man. Hey, Dent, what up? Man, this is, man, Buchtel. I have never seen a team in the whole, I've seen Buchtel for a long time, man. I mean, you assembled a small, get in your butt, shooting team. I ain't never seen a team shoot as good as Buchtel in my whole damn life. And for you putting that together and making it happen, man, it's unbelievable. I mean, how did you make that happen?
When you get some of the kids, and I always start kind of with Coy and Mir because they had work ethic that's culture changing, if it makes sense. In the city, I know Coach White, you saw over there at Hoban as well, that you got guys that they eat and sleep basketball. And a regular kid within the city, they wouldn't understand some of the work that you got to put in if you want to be special.
That's right.
So with Coy and Amir, that's why I applaud them because they would, Coy drive big old Tahoe. He riding 7 deep. If he's going to go train, he's showing his teammates, this is what I do. So he'll go physical train, then he'll do basketball training, him and Amir, and then they'll be at practice, getting that same grind in, not letting up. Matter of fact, he hate when I go half court stuff. He like, man, coach, we gotta get some competition. And so those things I felt was contributing to the overall culture of the program. Because now my younger guys want to go work out and they want to get shots up constantly, and they drilling, and that type of thing. So that was helping, and then also in practice, we was doing a lot of shooting. I knew at the end of the day that we wasn't a post-up team. We wasn't your typical team. So in my whole mindset, I wanted to go positionless basketball. I want whoever get the rebound, you can push. Feel free to. You know what I'm saying? I just so happen to have a dominant point guard, but don't be scared. And so my mindset always been, whenever I coach, everybody on the field everybody on the court has to be a threat. And you can't be scared to be one. You know what I'm saying?
And I saw that,
people just
I didn't see no team pressure.
Yeah.
After that time, I didn't see they got back.
Yeah.
They never tried to even see if y'all control. No, they watched some. What's the thing you can watch the huddle and all that? They didn't watch y'all to death because I watched y'all from the regionals all the way to the champion. I didn't see one team pressure.
Yeah, Cheney tried. Youngstown Cheney, but they athletic. They was physical. But once we beat the press,
they got out of there quick.
They didn't have another option. You know what I'm saying? And Vegas. There's only one team that maybe pressed us the whole year that was effective, and that was St. Louis Rayshon. And that was just a different breed.
Right, we understand that.
But that was another moment that we learned. You know what I'm saying? And they started figuring out. We started stretching the floor more. You can't if you is physical. Sorry about that. Yeah, if you is physically athletic to match up with us, we got to outthink you, and we start figuring out different ways how to stretch the floor, diagonal passes and things like that, to try to stay sound as we can to break the press. Because, last year we did have some problems, like against St. Ed's game, when we was up 12, 13 points and blew it in the fourth quarter because we couldn't break the press at the time. So we learned from those things, and those kids, our team, they grew and improved, But again, Ron, to answer to your question, they do a lot of work shooting and getting them shots up to become a better shooting team.
Just to piggyback, because I am a student of the game, and I've been watching our basketball period for as long as I can remember. And like I said on my show, you're only good as your coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
No question about it. When I saw TK, I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, Coach White. I'm like, that's a head coach. He's a head coach all on his own. So he got the advantage there. And then I'm like, Coach Dent went and got Bear and Marcy. And Coach Williams. Shout out to Coach Williams. High school coach, North High School.
Colt. Can't forget about Colt either.
Colt. And I said, man, Coach Dent really, really know what he's doing. But taking you to the state final, them timeouts, brother. When I looked and I said, he has all his time. You used them at the correct time. I said, man, this is man, look at. I was just like, man, look at Coach Dent out there, man. He never sweated, never. I just really, really commend that with you, man. And how did you go about you also, Coach White, you stepping into that role from being a head coach now to an assistant coach? And like you said, that sometimes you're like, I wouldn't have did it like that. How did you manage that? As far as you being an assistant and want to interject. And how did you, Coach Dent, come down to, because there's a lot of Buchtel great, because those are Buchtel kids. Mm-hmm. Marcy and Donald Garth and Bear Darius Knight, those are Buchtel kids. Mm-hmm. The question for you is, how did you, Coach White, how did you transition from being a head coach with a head coach's mind into an assistant coach and being a good team player? And how did you, Coach Dent, break down or come down to those two guys on your staff as far as the Buchtel kids?
Yeah, cool.
Well, first you got to put your ego to the side, and you got to realize that this is for the kids, and that's what I did. But at the same time, I knew I was the most experienced guy on the staff. I also knew, in the back of my mind, I used to play this dude, but I'm gonna put this to the side. And then I knew I know how to win, so I was like, I'll interject when I have to interject. And when I say, hopefully I'll get to the point, when I say something, I kind of mean it. You want to win or you want to lose. That's how I will put it to him. and he would say, "I want to win," and I go, "Okay, this is what we need to do," and then he would go, "Okay."
Well, Donald, excuse me. Well, I brought Bear on as soon as I got the job. I reached out to Bear. You gotta understand, I coached Bear from the time he was 8, so he
Called me immediately.
So he's
Up strong.
That goes way back. I even go before up strong. That's Bulldogs when we was down at Elizabeth Park.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
North side.
Right, Bears from the Knights is from the north side, right?
So he's basically like a nephew to me. But all that to the side, I know he's a competitive guy. And I know he's a high IQ guy. He knows basketball. He's been around it all his life. His father's a coach. So, I know the Knights, they typically is very cerebral players. And I figured he was an ideal guy especially to be able to translate, and talk with the players of the day for us, because I'm getting a little longer in the tooth. So, I let him and Marcy, Donald Garth, which you guys know, Marcy is another high IQ guy. When he played for us at Buchtel, he was a standout. He knows basketball. He sounds just like his Uncle Miles while he's out there. I mean, he's very, opinionated, you know what I'm saying, and he teaches really well. So, he's a joy to have. I know he came up under Coach Frankie, and Frankie Walker, so Frankie done poured into him, a lot of knowledge as well. So those two guys was really like no-brainers for me. I felt comfortable with them. And another thing is when you build a coaching staff, this is what I always feel is that you have to have confidence and you be able to trust, because your staff is like a brotherhood. You're not there if you're trying to backbite and stuff like that. You can't have an effective staff like that. So those guys I trusted and I felt confident in, and it was seamless as far as them coming into the staff and making an impact.
This is a question for both of you guys. We got the state championship out of the way. Coming back this next year, I know you're losing 4 starters. Mm-hmm. You got 4 seniors. I know you got a pretty good team coming back, Steve, next year at Hoban. Do we already see some of the guys that's on the team already ready to step in and replace what you're losing, Coach Dent and Coach White? I guess with you guys got a 6'8", 6'9" freshman.
Yep.
So you got a piece to build around.
Mm-hmm.
What type of player is he?
He play well. Actually, he can shoot threes. He can handle a ball, which is shocking because I think against Kent State,
Bill Lambier,
he got a steal or something, and he started dribbling down court, and everybody going no. And next thing you know, he looks the opposite way, hits TK's son, and get a layup, and everybody just shocked. And then if he shot a 3 and it went in, I was going, we gonna win. Because he'd throw you off because he's so big and he just looks like an offensive lineman. His hands is really big and he can shoot. He can play. He can go in or out.
So that's going to be our main player next year?
No, Jonas will be. Jonas will be. And we just got to find some players, and I think we got some JV guys who will fit in. But Jonas and that kid is our 2 building blocks.
Who is the building blocks at 1040 next year?
Well, I'm excited to see DJ Pride, Little Deer. Mm-hmm. I mean, the kid, he don't turn the ball over. He's not shook, and he's a very good defender.
Man, he hit every key 3-point when you needed it going through y'all ride.
Exactly.
Maxwell also.
You're right. So I look at DJ as a key piece, as well as Stevie Diamond, that sophomore, the quarterback. See, he sacrificed it. He so to speak, he defended the bigs for me. But the kid's a guard. He can put it up. He can fill it up at will, really, if I was to let him loose. But, he just wanted to take the role or whatever, and he respected the seniors. He respected them, and whatever they gave him, he was happy with. And once he started getting comfortable in that role, he really, I think he galvanized us even more. I'm hoping, Dakota, comes back. He's going to be, I think he'll be probably 6'6" next year, because he's still growing. But he just got an offer from Kent for us at receiver. So I don't know what his mindset might be coming into the next basketball season, but he can be a key contributor as well as Kamarion Marks. That's the number 15 that we come off the bench to defend. He's going to come back, and we'll a lot of my guys, my bench players, got a lot of exposure in that tournament run. I think that's what's going to help us a whole lot. And I had a freshman that he was behind Coy and them, and I think y'all all know Malsai. I couldn't wait to really turn loose. So we'll see how that go with him as well.
But what happened to Taj, man? Man, he started as a freshman. What happened, man?
Taj was struggling with a lot of injuries, man. I mean, to be honest with you, during the season, Taj played in maybe 16 games total. Because due to certain things, he had some injuries or ailments that he was dealing with, and that's one of the things, and he never could kind of get himself back right, to where he once was, But I mean, he still has skills. I mean, and when he was on top of his game, he could give us a lot. He's a heck of a ball player. But Taj, he said he was going to school for academics anyway. So he was just going out there really just for the love of the game and the play. I just wish him the best because he was a good kid. He's a great player for him.
I got one question for both of y'all, and we haven't talked about this, but I think we need to talk about it. The importance of Greg Clark.
Amber alert.
Very important. Did things that people did not want to do, and no one wants to do. He just very helpful. You ask him to do something, he'll do it, or he go, "Coach, I got it." And he just was that behind the scene guy that did things that I didn't even want to do, and he did.
But I'm gonna say this: Coach Clark is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's the greatest to ever do what he do. For Buchtel, a school that don't have a lot of resources and things like that, in most of them other schools, they got people doing those things. Whether it's taking care of the uniforms, whether it's taking, he'd tape up the players as well.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Clark do everything. I mean, you know what I'm saying. From my logistics standpoint, I always make sure me and him go over the checklist of what we have and what we need, and he's always on point with it, And I couldn't appreciate him enough, for a guy, that's been there as long as he have, and he's still, moving around and giving it his all, man. I really appreciate Coach Clark.
Hawkins said they call him a glorified water boy, and I get mad at that shit because as y'all being head coaches, you need help. You need help. The things he do, y'all don't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do it, and he do it. He gonna make sure everything's straight for you, ready to go for that game.
Man, let me tell y'all something. And this is how Coach Clark is. He ran the equipment room for the football team.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
Now I got, I'm putting my staff together, right? And then I'm trying to get a freshman coach, and at the last minute, the candidate I have, right before the season, Coach, I can't do it. Hey, Coach, you mind doing the freshman? Coach Clark has voice. Oh, yeah, Ray, no problem. I just said, my man. I'm talking about,
he won a coach. He won a coach.
Yeah,
That's good.
He took those kids, he took our freshman team, and I guarantee he's over 500. You know what I'm saying? And so he can coach if you do want him to. But the thing is that you don't want to put all that burden on him now. He's older and stuff like that. But the thing is, he'll do it if he have to. But I really appreciate him. You know what I'm saying? He stepped in with no problem, no complaints.
Yeah, he was one. Because I even coached at Buchtel for a few years. So for 30 years. And I just want people to think about this. For 30 years, this man has been the equipment manager for the football team. For 30 years. And he worked with the basketball program. He coached football. Clark has done everything. And every time I see him, I shake his hand. And for anybody that's listening to this, listen, I was so happy. I was happy for my guys, of course. But I was even more happier for Greg Clark because he's there. He's there. He won't leave that building till the last kid leave. I don't care if it's girl, boy, whoever. Mm-hmm. He picking kids up. He's feeding the kids. He does it all. So I wanted to just ask you guys about him because I know he helped both of y'all. And even when y'all was both together, Clark is a instrumental piece in the Buchtel sports scene for sure. So I just wanted to, give him some flowers.
I also want to give my cousin Barbara Blash.
Barb. Barb. Got to give Barb some love.
She Buchtel Diaries, man. She do anything for you too, man.
Hey, something that's funny. Before the game, one of my sisters had came in town from Atlanta, and Barb didn't know who she was. So she comes, I don't know how she got down on the floor at Dayton, and she's coming to give me a hug, right? And Barb. No, you don't. She said, that's my brother. She said, hey. She said, not before the game. Barb,
security always.
Barb, she got your back. She don't like you. She ain't gonna mess with you. Yeah. She gonna. I remember one time, I was coaching Tone, her son, we were freshman game. We up in Shaker Heights, and she can get under the ref's skin, and Barb letting her have it. And the ref come on, he said, "Man, is she always like this?"
She's a sweetheart.
I said, pretty much. But but that's the thing. She's passionate about what she do.
Yes,
you know
she
what
is.
I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the best scorekeepers, in the game. For I'm concerned, she be on it. She know it from back front to end. She'll call me Ray. You better go check out, see what they talk about. She know what she's looking at. Very important.
Well, Steve, we would like to congratulate you for coming on the show.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I hope you get a job, man. Really, I hope you get a job.
I will.
You need a job.
Yep.
I mean, you worked hard to get your job. So get a job. And Ray,
Get a job.
My man.
you're not finished, man. You're not finished. You got to get one more.
One more.
I mean, you already done took over the throne, but one more make you be that much higher.
Well,
And we congratulate y'all coming on our show.
Thank you.
And we're going to sign off with Ron Baker, Julius Harrington, Ali McGill, The Rizzo, and The Freak. And your host, Jerome Lane. Goodbye.
Y'all. Good job.